So welcome back to this lecture where we were discussing the creation of a material. Here we have our material 1000987 and we're going to be going and configuring all of these aspects of this material. If you look at these tabs over here, we have the two tabs that we had selected previously. So the basic data 1 and the basic data 2 tabs are over here, and our plant tab is going to be accessible somewhere towards the end. However, there is one thing I would like you not to do, and that is to click on any of these other tabs, because we have actually not configured these. Our sales and distribution consultant or our financial consultant will be giving us information about this. And if we enter to this tab, it's going to have its own required fields like this base unit field here. And when it has those fields, if we don't have the information for those fields, it's going to give us an error and not allow us to enter the material inside the database. So let's just come over here and let's define a sample material name. So the material name that we're going to be putting is going to be tire post-assembly part. Here we're going to be having some base unit of measure. So the base unit of measure we can put as UN, and you can actually look up this base unit of measure by going inside this drop down menu over here. And if you just scroll down, there are lots of these units available to us, and these units are going to be arranged in the alphabetical order. So if you want to pick up the UN unit, you have to come down here, and we have our UN unit at this portion over here. And there's also one thing I would like to discuss, which is going to be the conversions. So if you think about a pellet, or if you think about a carton box, how many units actually fit inside the carton box is something we define later on. And if you define a carton box, what exactly does this carton box mean? And how are you able to convert between these? We are able to establish those aspect ratios, and those ratios are going to be scalable upwards once we create them. So let's enter into this unit. Here is information about the material group. We can find our material group that we had created before. So let's come over here, and here is our material group. Let's paste our material group in, and this is going to be assigned to the material group that we created in a previous lecture. If you look at this old material number here, the old material number is going to allow us to refer to an older version of this current material that we are creating. So our current material is going to be this material here, and say we have some previous material that was defined, and maybe this is a general type of material that was defined and we're specializing it a little bit. We can assign that over here. Here are more information that we can assign as to the divisions and the storage, as well as who's going to be dealing with this. So the office who's managing this product, and those divisions and offices can be assigned here. We scroll down, you can see there's information about the dimensions. So we can define a gross weight. We're going to put 35 kilos here, kg, and if you enter into here, you can see all of these other commercial units of measure are available to us, and these have been very conveniently been placed such that these are the common shortcuts of assigning these. So a kg is the commonly used term for using a kilogram, a g is a commonly used term for grams, and those aspects have been configured over here. Let's come to the net weight. We'll define the net weight as 35 as well. And let's scroll down. You can define the volume. If this was a liquid type of material, you can define the volume here as well. And here are the sizes and dimensions of a single unit. So we have defined the base unit over here. What is the size or the dimension of this unit? You can define this sort of as a formula. Here's information about how we're going to be packaging this. So here we have cartons that we can package our tires into, and the container that we're going to be placing this is going to be a crate, which is a domestic output. So we're going to be circulating this inside our factories and inside our plants. So we're going to be exporting this domestically. Let's enter this, and here we have information about how we want to reference for packaging, and we have already defined our reference right here, which is K030. If you look at this languages maintained tab, here it says zero languages maintained, which means we are only working with the company code's language. So the default language is English. And if we're doing some sort of export to a different country, say we're working in the US and we're exporting it out to Germany, where we're going to be assembling it, we have to define another language because all of these information has to be available to the people in Germany who are going to be putting our products together. And we can basically come here, basic data text, and assign our language. Let's press enter. And this brings us to the next tab. And this is how we move forward from one tab to another one. If you see there's a tick mark already assigned here, that means we have completed this tab. Here we have the same information. It was copied over from the previous one. And here is information we can assign about basic material. Also, if this is a liquid, is it a highly viscous liquid? Meaning, is it one of those types of liquids where it doesn't overflow easily, or is it a basic type of liquid where there might be risk of overflowing, and what kind of environment might that sort of storage require? Here we can define information about the documents that we want to assign. So say we have a JPG file or some AutoCAD file that we had created on some computer-aided design software. If we want to assign those files, we can just enter the file names and the numbers that have been assigned inside the system. There's a way you can create these documents and use, say, the uploading software of SAP to upload these documents and then assign it to the specific material. This is going to allow the people to be able to assemble the material the way that we want it. Press enter. And we're brought to the general plant information. Here we have defined the base unit already. And this is going to be unit of issue, how we're going to be placing this orders, and the way that it's going to be issued out is going to be as a unit as well. So we can actually just type our unit in, and here's our unit over here. Let's take a look at the maximum storage life period, and the maximum storage period that we can assign we'll be saying as 1 year, because after 1 year the tires are going to be of no use to us. They're going to be experiencing extreme winter, and they're going to be experiencing, for example, a degradation in the quality of the tire. All of those aspects we are going to be taking into condition and when we define this maximum storage period. This is actually very much useful for the foods department. So if you're having the industry type food, we would want to be assigning these aspects to our plant material. So this is basically all that we have to define. If we press enter, it's going to ask us to have an alternate unit here. Let's just make sure we define a carton here. So let's scroll down, and here we'll put something like pallet. Press enter now. And here what I was saying was the conversion between the alternative unit to the base unit. So if we're issuing this as a pallet, which is then placed inside a carton, how are we going to be converting? So we're going to say one pallet is equal to 12 of these units, so like a dozen. And if we press enter now, it should allow us to save our material and then exit out by creating our material. It says our material was created. And with this, we can end our lecture, and we have finished the creation of our material.